Okay, first of all, good afternoon, everyone. Today we are going to cover an topic which is quite in hype in market right now, especially on the field of AIML. So we are going to know a bit about the ChatGPT, everything you want to know about the ChatGPT in this session. So before going to the session, please follow some knowledge etiquettes, punctuality. Please do give your feedback. It's always valuable. Silent mode, please keep your devices or laptops in silent and avoid any disturbances. So thank you for that. So our today's agenda is going to be covering from the very first of generative AI, which is like the founding pillar for all the AI tools which are in market right now. Then we'll go ahead with introduction to ChatGPT, a general chatbot architecture. How the ChatGPT is related with GPT-3, some of its models, and then we'll see its implementation on Python. So let's go ahead with generative AI. So generative AI is something which is quite developed in the past 2-3 years, and has gone to a position that people have really started to understand it. So generative artificial intelligence is a rapidly evolving field that has the potential to revolutionize the way we create and interact with technology. With the ability to generate new data, content, generative AI has wide range of applications in a variety of industry, for entertaining to finance. Yep. So generative AI can be used with content such as text, images, music-based classifications, anything, and it has been quite in hype. Generative models are able to learn the patterns and the features of the training data and use this knowledge to generate new previously unseen examples as well. So this is how we are using the data to our benefit, as we are already training our AI models to such a high tuned parameter that it can also know the unseen data as well from the training data set. So so generative AI works by training model on large data set and then using the model to generate new previously unseen content that is similar to training data. These generated examples can be used for a variety of purposes, including creating new content, completing tasks, enhancing existing system, and so on. And there are wide area of applications in which generative AI can be used. For example, you can use it in computer graphics, creating realistic images. Like if you guys know about it, DALI is a very famous OpenAI source product which is able to generate images from the text. Then music and art as well, language and content. Obviously, you can do research writing with generative AI as well. So let's know a bit about ChatGPT. ChatGPT is specifically designed to assist with generating human-like text in a chatbot or a conversational setting. So I don't know how many of you guys have used ChatGPT, but it's something if you guys ask anything to the ChatGPT interpreter, it will respond you in a way a person or a human is going to respond. And ChatGPT was created by San Francisco-based artificial intelligence company known as OpenAI, as all of you know. And OpenAI is a non-profit organization, and it is completely dedicated to developing high-level AI products. OpenAI is famous for its well-known DALI. You guys should try that, a deep learning model that generates images from text, instructions, and prompts. And for long term, OpenAI introduced this question answering AI called ChatGPT, and mind that this ChatGPT which it has released is still in beta mode only. So this year they are planning to probably get their alpha mode and the real ChatGPT. But currently ChatGPT is a beta mode, and it is growing very well. ChatGPT is a variant of popular language known as GPT-3. We'll look about it in the future slides. And yes, ChatGPT uses reinforcement learning for getting the human feedback as well. It is an additional layer that they have added on their system in their model to get feedbacks from the humans as well to improve their model accuracy. So let's go ahead with the general chatbot architecture. So obviously, it was impossible to find the ChatGPT architecture as they will not release that, but we can assume that the architecture would be similar for what we have here, and we can go through a deep dive as to what are the key components which is required in our architecture for generating a chatbot, a normal chatbot architecture. So first is your environment, where like you are going to UI in which you are going to connect with the chatbot. Then the question answering system, is it going to be text or speech or whichever you choose. Then we have the plugins and components, which is basically all the environment which are here. Then we have node server, which is the response for action-based client and the feedback which we are getting from the client, which feedback which we are getting from the humans. Then we have front-end system, obviously, and we have ServiceNow system in which it will basically contain a ticket system in which how each answer, each question is going to revert it back from the knowledge. And obviously there is a knowledge question answering system as well. So we'll first go with the environment as to what is this. So this is where the core NLP engine and context interpretation happens. So this is where you use your NLP engine for understanding the text, which you have the user has inputted. So NLP engine is a core component that interprets that why users say at any given time and converts the language to structured input that system can further process. Since chatbot is a domain specific, it must support so many features. So NLP engine contains advanced machine learning algorithms to identify user intent and further matches them to list the available intents the bot supports. So yeah, NLP engine can further also be classified into two components, which is intent classifier and another is entity classifier. So intent classifier basically takes user input and identifies its meaning and relates back to one of the intents that the chatbot supports. And then entity extractor is basically, it extracts the key information from the user's query. So these are two different NLP engine parts, which is very important for your chatbot architecture. And obviously agent for dialogue management should be there. That is also obviously is a part of this. And so in your environment, there should be an NLP engine, and then there should be your agent for dialogue management. So this is something which has been a key, because sometimes what happens, humans just try to identify how much can we take this chatbot further. So nowadays people the architecture has been made there should be some dialogue maintaining policy as well from the learning mechanism. So basically it manages the actual context of the dialogue. For example, the users might say he needs to order ice cream, and the bot might take the order, and then the user might say change it to coffee. Here the user refers to the order that he has placed earlier, and the bot must correctly interpret this and make changes in the order he has placed earlier before confirming with the user. Dialog management plugin enables us to do this. So basically connecting the previous question with this, which another dialogue. So dialog management help us to do that. So there are a couple of things which are there in the dialog management. So there is a feedback mechanism. Here the agent takes the feedback from the user time to time and learn it from if the bot is doing fine with the conversation and the user is satisfied with the bot's response. This reinforces the bot to learn from mistakes and correct itself in future conversation. And the other is obviously the policy learning. The policy learning is a high-level framework that teaches the bot to take more of happy parts during the conversation to improve overall end user satisfaction. Broadly, it creates the network of happy part and routes the conversation to end user satisfaction. The bot then tries to learn from the interaction and follows the interaction flow about the conversation it had with similar users in the past. So this is how the whole environment is basically created and how we are basically interacting. Obviously, and next we have our question answering system in here itself, in which it is a key component of the answering users frequently asked questions. Q&A system interprets. So there are few of the things. Q&A system interprets the questions and responds with relevant relevant answers from the knowledge base. It has like few of the three components here. So first one is manual training. Manual training involves domain expert creating the list of frequently asked questions, user queries, and map its answer. This helps the bot to quickly identify the answer to most important questions. And obviously, this is the manual training. And there is another which is called as automated training. Automated training involves submitting the company's document like policy documents and other QA type of documents to the bot and ask if it to train itself. So basically what we can do is we basically can provide some questions and ask the chatbot or whatever you are using to like do the query on itself and do an automated training of that. The engine comes up with a list of questions and answers from these documents. The bot can then answer with confidence. So on the spot, basically the bot is going to like try to like understand the question and give you the answer. And we come to the plugins and components, which are pretty important. So this whole ticketing system is part of this. So client-specific table APIs, ticket creation flow, ticket knowledge articles, everything comes in these components. Plugins offer chatbot solution APIs and other intelligent automation components for chatbot to use for internal company use like HR management or fieldwork chatbots. Next, we go to the node server. Node server, or you can also call it as traffic server. The server that handles the traffic request from the user and routes them to appropriate components. The traffic server also routes the response from internal components back to the front-end system. And obviously, at the end, you have the front-end system attached here. The front-end system can be any client platform. They can be also actual chatbot interface, whichever you might provide. Nowadays, Facebook, Slack, Google Hangouts, and Microsoft Teams, Skype, all of them are implementing this. So this is a small like explanation of the architecture which will be required to like build a chatbot. Let's go. So yeah, so what is the relation of ChatGPT with GPT-3 and what is exactly GPT-3? Let's go. So ChatGPT is basically a variant of an already pre-built model GPT-3 language model, which OpenAI developed before like releasing ChatGPT. ChatGPT and GPT-3 are obviously both language models trained by OpenAI, but they have some key differences. Like GPT-3 is the third generational OpenAI GPT language model, and is the one of the most powerful models that is currently available. So yeah, and designed and trained to assist with generating human-like text that we already know and all conversational setting. So GPT-3 in large is a language model, and ChatGPT is basically designed from its like subpart to basically like generate human-like behavior while responding to the text. And ChatGPT is a specialized version of GPT and has been tailored for use like ChatGPT application. Here you can see how you can use this. Basically, you provide any input text, and GPT basically will provide you with an answer. And obviously, it can be fine-tuned for a wide range of natural language processing tasks, including language translation, text summarization, question answering, and a lot. So in final, I would say that in terms of performance, if you can check, ChatGPT is not as powerful as GPT-3, but it is suited much well for the human conversational type setting. It is generally also, and ChatGPT is also faster and more efficient than GPT-3 as well, which makes it a better choice for using real-time chatbot systems. Overall, ChatGPT and GPT are both generally obviously powerful, but they have designed for different purposes and have different strengths and weaknesses. So, yep, ChatGPT is derived from GPT. We'll see as to some of the models which currently ChatGPT is using right now with its UI interface. So there are currently three major models which ChatGPT is using. First one is obviously GPT, and second is Codex, and the third is content filter. So let's, in short, GPT we already know. Basically, it can understand the natural language which we are like inputting in the system. And currently, the GPT's latest model is this text Darwini, the 003, which is the latest one, which is the GPT is using, and so is the ChatGPT. So our ChatGPT model can understand and generate natural language, and we offer four main models with this. So yep, this is the GPT. Next, we have the coders for our coding understanding. So if you know, ChatGPT has also gone quite famous to generate coding answers as well. So codex models are descendants of our GPT models that can understand and generate code. Their training data contains both natural language and billions of lines of public code, and they are basically getting this public code from GitHub as well. So they are most capable in Python right now and proficient over a dozen of languages, including JavaScript, Go, Perl, PHP, Ruby, Swift, Transcript, SQL, and etc. So currently, yep, Codex is currently more proficient on Python. That's why it's getting more suitable answer for it. But hopefully in future, it will get much better in other languages as well. And the third one is the content filter. Content filter is basically aims to detect and generate text that could be sensitive or unsafe for coming from the API. So basically, it is a filtering model. Is someone saying something?
No, Pranav.
Okay. Okay. So content filter, we recommend using a new moderation endpoint instead of content filter model. The filter aims to detect generated text that could be sensitive or unsafe coming from the API, obviously. It's currently in beta mode and has three ways to classify text as safe, sensitive, or unsafe. The filter will make mistakes, and we have currently built that they have currently built it to an side of caution, thus resulting in higher false positives. So basically, the labeling is currently working as to like 0, 1, 2. 0 being recognizing as the text is safe, 1 is for the text is sensitive, and they are marking the label 2 when text is unsafe to respond or should not be responded. So these are the currently three models which ChatGPT is using in its code. Okay, so let's answer this question as to ChatGPT against currently widely used Google search. So there has been an upclimb of to unsaid Google. By some estimates, ChatGPT has more than 90% of current search markets. So ChatGPT has so much data that it has already pre-trained itself so well that it might be able to compete with Google search or other Google search engines in the future. But obviously currently it's still in a beta mode, and there need to be more fine tuning. And one of the thing is like language models improves as more more users test them out. So obviously it's a reinforcement learning model type situation. So every time a user inputs something, it will automatically learn new things from that. But one of the concerns currently like might be there for the AI products right now is to how are they going to monetize it? Are they going to like a billable sort of thing using like in a subscription mode? Because 90% of Google revenue comes from the ad which we are basically putting out on their search engines. So currently AI product will face the difficulty of monetizing their product. And this is going to play a key part as to if ChatGPT and other chatbots can compete with Google or not. According to the New York Times, it releases that uh, Google's management has declared it a code red. So Google has already like understood that this is and like serious competition that is coming towards them, and we'll see how in coming next 2 or 3 years the things unfolds. So that is something going to be very interesting here. You can see here the timeline as well. This is the time taken to reach 1 million users. Netflix took almost around 40 days, and you can see here the least. Twitter also took around 23 days. Facebook took about 10 days, something like that. Instagram coming that, and ChatGPT, I think did that in first 2 or 3 days. It like reached to 1 million users. So you can understand what is the hype of ChatGPT, which is currently growing, and this will like exponentially grow in the coming few months as well, because ChatGPT is going to like release its new version as well. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, you can understand why Google and all other their competitors, even Facebook and Instagram, are taking this as a code red for themselves. This is a serious concern they have. Okay.
Pranav, just one question there. You have said days. I think that's x-axis is in months, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's in months.
Okay.
I think ChatGPT still did that in a week. That's what
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, so that is the key here. Apart from that, let's see it's using up with ChatGPT Python. So I basically create a small uh, Python notebook, which basically shows how you can implement it with Python. So this is a small API. So what you need to do is like, first of all, install the Python like OpenAI in your system, and it's free, so you don't need to pay anything here. It's a simple pip install. Then the important thing which you need to go do is go to the OpenAI, and you need to first generate your API key. So what you can do once you have set up, like sign into your like OpenAI system, you can go and you can see like view API keys, and you can basically see it will like show you to get a response to create a new secret key, which you need to do from here and make it as a person obvious. And basically you can store this API key, and then what you need to do is like use this API key, and every time you want to use the OpenAI any of the models. So that is something you need to do from here. Apart from that, when we come here, this is a small snippet code which is designed here, basically importing the OpenAI and using your API key. And this is the model which we are using right now. So Text Darwin C is basically the latest model which ChatGPT is using. So we are going to I have basically made it to that, and you need to basically fill out this, and all of this is available in the ChatGPT documentation, which you can follow from here. So in the documentation, you can basically go through this, and you can also try many other things as well. So this is basically a default which I have chosen for now, and I have put a prompt here as well as to write a code for making a calculator to solve differential equation. Let's make a simple calculator for now. Okay. Let's try this one first. So it will take some time to print its response. Okay, so it has generated a response. You can see here it has created 4 functions basically for add, subtract, multiply, and divide. It has also printed like the operations which we want to do, and it has also created the UI itself. So and this is, I think, right. answer from the ChatGPT. Obviously, ChatGPT will not answer right answers every time, but like previously, I tested few of the cases in which it was failing, but the next day I tried to like run the same cases, it was like giving the right answers. It has happened a few times. So this is something how ChatGPT is working. If anyone wants to like give another question, can suggest as well.
So just one more thing to add here, Pranav. So if all can see that Pranav has miswritten the Python,
And as well,
right?
yeah.
So, but ChatGPT was able to identify that we need a code in Python, and it responded well in that case as well. So yeah, that's one thing to highlight.
Pranav, just try the previous type differential with wrong spelling and equation. Let's put it as a question
Let's get rid of E.
and just change equation to question.
You mean just question mark?
No, just type question. Uh, spell question. Yeah.
This might not work because it won't be able to understand this one. Let's see. Oh, it somehow was able to generate something.
I think you previously hit the same question. I believe.
No, it's different question. But it has given a different answer, but I don't think it has done the work which it was supposed to do, right? It's a
Yeah.
simple calculator which it has generated. So basically, it could not understand the equation here because it's completely different spelling. And it has basically like taken the calculator as a primary word and basically generated a calculator here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The dominance of calculator was more. That's why it ignored the word differential equation and just gave us the code of calculator.
Right. Exactly. So yeah, this is a small demo of ChatGPT in a nutshell. Organization can definitely use this because it's currently like open source. So that depends on everything. But yeah, is there any questions? If not, I guess I'm pretty much done here, except if anyone wants to like know more about ChatGPT, can use some of these references from here. New York Times, definitely do follow them. OpenAI official docs are really helpful. And Vsoft Consulting is basically where you can find your chatbot architectures. And another thing is like if anyone is more interested in going into depth of this like ChatGPT or using more of these complications, there are few of the examples you can take it from here. So Q&A is something if you put here, it will basically show you what you want to use and how you can build this model. You can basically like try to run it on your own notebook and play it around with it. So you can see there are multiple of like things you can use here. Explaining code is another one which you can use. Do like it's a fun to do this, so please do check it out. So in total, I guess that is all, and thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Pranav. That's a wonderful session, and that was quite informative. Anyone who wants to ask anything, any comments, any suggestions?
It was just a wonderful session, Pranav. Thank you.
Yeah. Pranav, I have one question, Pranav.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
So basically one of the usages that you have shown, right, is to generate the code, right?
Yep.
And
Right.
then it also does a lot of work with the images as well, right? So I can generate
That's
images.
but that is not the part of ChatGPT. That's a part of DALI system, which Open
Okay.
has separately
Okay.
developed.
So ChatGPT, if I call about, right, it's anything related to NLP. That is what the primary function
Right,
is.
exactly. So ChatGPT is basically
Okay.
like primarily it's functioning on the NLP and the code, like we have seen here, the coding part, for the coding part, it has its separate model code known as code base codex. On that, it has basically trained all the GitHub repositories and all the code from there.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Got it. And OpenAI have other components as well, right? So have you tried with any other components
So for
other than
now,
ChatGPT?
So for now, for ChatGPT, all you need is like some of the NLP components. If you want to like go ahead with the like images one, which like Professor you are talking about, for that we might need to use the DALI system for that, because DALI is much like well defined for the images system. ChatGPT will not like able to do that.
Okay. And are there any competitors of ChatGPT in the market?
Currently, there is no good competitor for ChatGPT, because what they have developed for now is like pretty like tremendous from their side, and that's why Google is like scared as well, right? As to what they will do, because this is just the beta version which they have released right now.
Okay.
So
And
just
and
Mhm.
they're
Yeah, go
also
ahead, please.
looking to commercialize it, right?
That's the
Current
main
current
question,
product.
right? How are going to like finance it, basically? How are making they are going to like sell this to the market and generate revenue from it? Monetizing is the key part which they need to resolve.
Okay. 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 Got it.
So
Thanks, sir. It
basically,
was a wonderful session. Yeah.
I think monetization will not come into play until they have like a ex- expected accuracy that they want to achieve with this, because right now what they are doing is they are just open sourcing it, and they want people to use more and more, right? So that the model can get the uh, feedbacks that, hey, you are doing this wrong, or hey, you are not doing this correct, right? So that's how they can train the model. I believe once they are at the stage that the model is mature enough to handle these NLP problems and all, obviously then they will be monetizing it, right? Because
Okay.
I guess Microsoft already has announced a $1 billion investment in it, right? And some of like I was reading some news today as well, and I guess TCS or some uh, Accenture or something like that have introduced this to their clients as well, because for like some in NLP domain, some of the clients are using the summarizing techniques, right? So if they get long text and they want summary for that, so earlier we were using the Google model for that, right? We have the pre-trained Google model on Hugging Face, and we downloaded that and we use that model. But right now, what people are doing it, people are using ChatGPT for that also, and different
Okay.
aspects as well. So yeah, it's a like good competition for others as well, but monetization part will come into place like later on.
If yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, and one interesting thing, right? So for example, I think Google has integrated that model in their chat as well, right? Because if you see recently, right, we have started seeing those snapshots that this is the discussion that happened, right?
Right.
Overall summary of the.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Got it. Cool. Yeah.
yep, thank you.
Okay.
Pranay, I have one question. This chat GPT is trained until which year's data set?
I don't know exactly the date, but it's just the size of the corpus that it's like, I
I
guess.
can actually answer that one.
Yeah,
So
please.
the latest model which we are using for ChatGPT is Text Da Vinci 003, which was like last updated in June 2021. So it's currently using the data till June 2021.
Yeah, that makes sense because like one time I asked it a question like, can you suggest me strongest build in order to build a gaming PC? So it suggested some of the parts like which were based on
Which were
20
before,
2020.
like, yep.
Yeah,
So that's the
yeah.
reason, basically. So possibly this year they might like get a new model for ChatGPT, but currently the latest is the June 21, which it's using.
Cool. Thanks.
Okay.
Okay.
I think that's if we don't have any other questions, so I think we can wrap up this session. Um, Thank you, Pranav. That's a wonderful session. And please, guys, do provide your feedbacks as well.
Yep, please do provide your feedback. So it's always valued, like this ChatGPT model. So thank you guys for joining in.
Right.
Thanks, Pranav. Thanks, Pranav, for this session. Actually, I was waiting for this session since I was using ChatGPT from last, 1 to 2 weeks. So I was waiting. So, is there any input? Means how is this working and how much data and means the last updated value? So, thanks, Pranav, and thanks, Pranav, for this wonderful session. Cheers, guys.
Yep, thanks, good luck.
Thanks, Pranav, for the wonderful session. Thanks, Pranay, and thanks everybody for attending the session. We'll see you soon in the next session.
Sure. Bye. Bye.
Okay,
Have a
guys,
nice day,
bye-bye.
guys.
Bye everyone.